Picture this. You go for your usual walk, maybe around the block, maybe just to the mailbox and back. And it feels fine, your legs move, you get where you're going. But have you ever noticed that walking alone doesn't seem to help as much as it used to? Standing up from the couch still feels a little effort. Stairs still make you pause at the bottom. Balance still feels a step behind where you'd like it to be. You're not alone in noticing that. Walking is wonderful for your heart, your mood, your lungs. But walking mostly repeats the same motion over and over in a straight line. It doesn't ask your legs to push hard. It doesn't ask your balance system to work in new directions. And after 65, those are often exactly the things that start to matter most. The encouraging news is this. There's a simple way to fill in what walking leaves out, and it doesn't require a gym, fancy equipment, or getting down on the floor. All you need is a wall. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 simple wall exercises. Each one targets something walking alone often can't reach. Together, they work on the strength you need to stand up with ease, the balance you need to feel steady on your feet, and the stability you need to catch yourself if you ever stumble. These aren't complicated, they're not exhausting, and they're designed so almost anyone can start today, right where they are. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do all 3, how many to start with, and how to build on them safely over time. This matters because independence isn't really about how far you can walk. It's about whether you can get out of your favorite chair without thinking twice, whether you can catch your balance if your foot catches the edge of a rug, whether you can carry a bag of groceries to the kitchen counter without your legs feeling shaky halfway there. Those are the moments that make up daily life, and those are the moments these 3 exercises are built for. I've spent years watching what actually helps people move through their day with more confidence, and one pattern keeps showing up. It's rarely more walking. It's usually a little bit of targeted strength and balance work done consistently in short sessions like this one. There's actually a particular order to these 3 exercises that makes a real difference. Most people start with the wrong one first, and it means missing out on the biggest benefit. I'll show you the right order and why it matters in just a moment. Before we get into it, I'd love to know, which feels harder for you lately? Standing up from a low chair or staying steady on uneven ground? Let me know in the comments. It helps me know what to cover in future videos. Now let's talk about why walking, on its own, often isn't enough, and what's actually happening in your legs and your balance system that these wall exercises are designed to fix. When you walk, your legs do move, but they mostly do one thing. They swing forward, they land, they push off, and they repeat that same pattern again and again. That's useful. It's just not complete. Here's what walking usually doesn't ask your body to do. It doesn't ask your legs to push hard against real resistance. It doesn't ask your hips and ankles to hold you steady while your body shifts side to side. And it doesn't challenge your balance system the way everyday life actually does. Think about the last time you reached up into a cupboard and felt your balance shift for just a second, or stepped off a curb and needed an extra beat to feel steady again. Walking on a flat sidewalk rarely recreates those moments, but life does, all the time. This is why some people walk regularly and still notice standing up from a chair feels harder than it used to, or still feel a little unsteady when the ground isn't perfectly flat. Walking is training endurance. It isn't training strength, and it isn't training balance, at least not in the way your daily life actually demands. So what's really going on with your legs and your balance as the years go by? Part of it is simply how muscles work. Starting somewhere in our 40s or 50s, many people gradually lose some muscle strength if that strength isn't regularly challenged. This isn't a disease. It isn't something going wrong. It's simply how the body responds when a muscle isn't asked to work against resistance very often. Walking rarely asks your thigh muscles or hip muscles to work hard because your body weight moving forward doesn't create much resistance. The second part involves your balance system. Staying steady on your feet depends on a kind of quiet teamwork between your eyes, your inner ear, and the sensors in your muscles and joints that tell your brain where your body is in space. Like most systems in the body, this one works better with regular practice, and like muscle strength, it often becomes less sharp if it isn't challenged. Neither of these changes means something is wrong with you. They're simply part of how the body adapts to whatever it's regularly asked to do. And that's actually good news, because it means the same principle works in reverse. When you challenge your strength and your balance safely and consistently, your body tends to respond by getting stronger and steadier again. This is exactly where the wall becomes useful. A wall gives you something walking can't. It gives you resistance to push against, so your legs have to generate real strength. And at the same time, it gives you just enough support that you can safely challenge your balance without fear of falling. You get the benefit of a real balance challenge with a safety net built right in. That combination, strength and balance working together safely, is what actually protects the everyday movements you care about. Standing up without using your hands, recovering your balance if you catch your toe on something, feeling steady while reaching for something on a shelf. Walking supports your heart and your energy. These wall exercises support the strength and stability your legs need for the moments that matter most. So let's get into them. 3 simple movements, all using a wall that work together to build the strength and steadiness that walking alone leaves behind. We'll start with the one that builds your foundation first, because the other 2 work best once that foundation is in place. The first exercise is called the wall sit. It looks almost too simple. You lean your back against a wall, bend your knees, and hold that position for a few seconds. That's it. But this quiet, still exercise may be one of the most valuable things you can do for your legs because of what it demands from your muscles the entire time you're holding it. Here's why it matters in daily life. The wall sit trains the same muscles you use every time you stand up from a chair, rise from the toilet, or push yourself up from a low seat in the car. Every one of those moments depends on the muscles at the front of your thighs and around your hips working together to straighten your legs and hold you steady. The wall sit trains exactly that in a safe, controlled way. The muscles doing most of the work here are the ones on the front of your thighs. They're the muscles that straighten your knees every time you stand, and they're often the first to lose strength if they aren't regularly challenged. Around your hips, another set of muscles works alongside them, helping you stay balanced and stable the entire time you're holding the position. Many people notice these muscles feeling less powerful over the years, simply because daily life rarely asks them to hold a position under tension. Walking doesn't do it. Sitting in a chair doesn't do it. The wall sit does. Here's how to do it. Stand with your back against the wall, feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Walk your feet forward slightly so when you bend your knees, your back can slide down the wall comfortably. Slowly bend your knees, letting your back slide down the wall until you reach a comfortable position. You do not need a deep bend. Even a small bend is enough to begin. Your knees should stay above your ankles, not out past your toes. Hold that position steady. Keep your back pressed against the wall the entire time. Breathe normally throughout. Don't hold your breath. In and out, calm and steady, just like you would while standing still. Hold for about 10 to 15 seconds to start, then slowly slide back up the wall to standing. If a deeper bend feels like too much, that's completely fine. A shallow bend still challenges these muscles. The goal isn't depth. The goal is holding the position with good control. Begin with 2 or 3 holds, resting comfortably in between. 2 or 3 times a week is a great place to start. As it starts to feel easier, you can slowly build from there. Add a few seconds to your hold, or bend your knees slightly deeper. Progress slowly, there's no rush. One common mistake is letting the knees drift inward or outward instead of staying aligned over the feet. Keep them tracking straight ahead. Another is holding the breath. Keep breathing naturally the entire time. Every second you hold that wall sit is practice for standing up from your chair with steady, confident legs. Now that you've built some foundation strength, let's add something that trains a different kind of power, the strength you use to push yourself up and away from things, like getting out of a low chair or pushing open a heavy door. This second exercise is the standing wall push-up. You'll recognize the movement. It looks similar to a push-up, but standing, using the wall instead of the floor. This makes it accessible for almost anyone while still training real upper body and core strength. Here's why this matters for everyday life. Think about the last time you needed to push yourself up from a low chair using your arms, or steady yourself against a counter while reaching for something. Those moments depend on strength through your chest, shoulders, and arms, working together with a stable core. The wall push-up trains exactly that, in a safe, controlled way. Stand facing the wall and arms length away. Place your palms flat against the wall, roughly shoulder-width apart at about shoulder height. Keeping your body in a straight line from head to heels, slowly bend your elbows, lowering your chest toward the wall. Move slowly, taking about 2 to 3 seconds to lower. Pause briefly, then press through your palms to push yourself back to the starting position. Exhale as you push away. Inhale as you lower toward the wall. Keep your core gently engaged throughout so your hips don't sag or pike. If you need more challenge, simply step your feet slightly farther from the wall. If you need less, step closer. Start with 6 to 8 repetitions, 1 or 2 sets. 2 to 3 times a week works well alongside your wall sets. As this becomes comfortable, you can step your feet back a little farther from the wall, which increases the challenge naturally. One common mistake is rushing the movement. Slow and controlled is what builds real strength here, not speed. Another is letting the hips sag toward the wall. Keep your body in one steady line, like a plank standing upright. This movement is quietly preparing you for every moment you push yourself up, out of a chair, off a low bed, or away from a countertop with strength and confidence. Now for the third piece, and this is often the one people overlook entirely because it doesn't look like traditional exercise at all. This final movement trains your balance directly, using the wall as your safety support. We call this the wall-supported single-leg stand. Here's why this one matters so much. Every single step you take, whether you're walking to the mailbox or crossing a parking lot, briefly puts your full weight on just one leg while the other moves forward. If your balance on one leg isn't steady, every one of those steps carries a little more risk than it needs to. Stand facing the wall or sideways next to it, close enough that you can rest 1 or 2 fingers against it for light support. This isn't about leaning on the wall, it's about having just enough contact to feel secure. Slowly shift your weight onto one leg and gently lift the other foot a few inches off the floor. Hold that position, standing tall, eyes looking forward rather than down at your feet. Breathe normally the entire time. Hold for about 10 seconds to start, then gently lower your foot and switch sides. If 10 seconds feels like a lot right now, even a few seconds is a valuable place to begin. What matters is practicing the balance, not how long you hold it. Start with 2 holds on each leg. A few times a week is plenty. As your balance improves, you can gradually reduce how much you're touching the wall, moving from a full hand to fingertips to just hovering your hand nearby without touching at all. One common mistake is looking down at your feet the entire time. Try to keep your eyes forward, since this mirrors how you actually balance while walking. Another is holding on too tightly. Use the wall as light reassurance, not as something to depend on entirely. Every time you practice this, you're teaching your body to trust itself on one leg, which is exactly what happens every time you take a step, cross a room, or catch yourself after a small stumble. 3 exercises: a foundation of strength, a push of power, and a moment of balance. Together, they cover what walking alone simply can't reach. Now let's bring these 3 exercises together into something you can actually use, starting today. The order matters more than people realize. Begin with the wall sit, since it builds the foundational strength your legs need. Follow with the wall push-up, which adds upper body and core stability. Finish with the single leg stand, since your legs and balance system work best on this one once they're already warmed up from the first 2. A simple way to start is twice a week, 2 or 3 wall sits, 6 to 8 wall push-ups, and 2 single leg holds on each side. That's a complete little routine, and it takes less time than you might think, often under 10 minutes. You don't need to do more than that to begin seeing value. Consistency matters far more than volume. 2 focused sessions a week done regularly will do more for you than 1 long session done occasionally and then abandoned. As the weeks go by, you'll notice your body asking for a little more. Maybe you hold the wall sit a few seconds longer. Maybe you step your feet back slightly for the push-up. Maybe you find you barely need your fingers on the wall for the balance hold anymore. That's exactly how progress should feel: quiet, gradual, earned. And if a particular day feels harder than another, that's normal too. Some days your legs will feel ready for more. Other days, simply completing the routine as written is enough. There is no need to push through discomfort or rush your progress. Slow, steady practice is what builds lasting strength. If you have any pain that feels sharp or unusual or gets worse as you continue, that's your body's signal to stop and check in with your healthcare provider before continuing. Mild muscle effort is expected. Sharp or worsening pain is not something to push through. Keep your walks. They're still good for your heart, your energy, and your mood. But now you understand why walking alone often isn't quite enough for your legs and your balance. These 3 wall exercises are here to fill in exactly what walking leaves out. It's easy to believe that getting older simply means slowing down, becoming more cautious, accepting a little less independence each year. But that's not the full picture. Your muscles are still capable of responding to practice. Your balance system is still capable of getting sharper with use. It's never too late to begin, and it's never too small a step to matter. Every wall sit you hold is practice for standing up from your favorite chair with ease. Every wall push-up is practice for pushing yourself up with confidence. Every balance hold is practice for staying steady through your everyday life, whether that's crossing the kitchen, stepping off a curb, or simply walking through your own front door. If this gave you a clearer picture of how to build real strength and balance, I'd love for you to try these 3 exercises this week and notice how they feel. And if you'd like more practical, honest guidance like this for staying strong and steady as you age, you're always welcome here. Take care of yourself and keep moving with confidence.